Everybody, it is Valentine's Day currently. Not when you guys will be hearing this, but welcome to Everything in Moderation. Episode 20. We made it. 2 decades of Everything in Moderation.
Is that good?
quite a quite a wild run it's been, man, so far. Been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. Uh, you know, hopefully episode 20 or 21 will be our big break. And we'll get ourselves out there.
Today we're getting back to some real meat on bone political.
Yes, we are. Like we've been talking about, we've been bullshitting the past couple of weeks. I mean, that's okay because like we want to create like entertaining content and whatnot. But we have some interesting news. This is Sean's topic, so Sean can take the lead here. We only have Sean today, just Sean and me. It's a nice little Valentine's Day date. I would not have it any other way. Go ahead.
So I was like hearing about all these different political topics, and one that I really liked that I heard about was Biden giving the order to the attorney general and obviously the rest of the government to end the reliance on private prisons and basically commanding the attorney general and everyone else to cut the contracts with them so that they are no longer a part of the U.S. federal uh, Department of Corrections, and like nobody's going to go to jail from a federal court to a private prison. I don't know if this order extends to like county, state, and town stuff. I'm not really sure. I haven't been able to tell from the reports I've read on it, but I do know that definitely all federal cases will no longer be sent to private prisons.
So, do you think that this is a good thing or just like an indifferent thing or what?
I actually like this a lot. I'm a big fan of this move. Like I said, I wasn't like I voted for Biden for because I just didn't think Trump was going to do anything that would help in his second term. I think he had a decent first term, maybe not the end, but like overall. And honestly, Biden's kind of surprising me a little bit. I'm not going to say I love him, but I like him a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I like this move in particular. Like, this is a really good move. Uh, let's see. What did it? I was just reading about this. He said, "We must change now. I know it's going to take time. I know we can do it. And I firmly believe the nation is ready to change, but the government has to change as well." I like it because one of the things, like, I don't know how much people know about this topic, but a lot of why he's doing this is because of his campaign promise and platform that he ran on, that he was going to try and have more racial equity between all the different races. And obviously, it's not really a stereotype because it's actually true. More African American people get sent to prison than anyone else, which is kind of a little bit ridiculous. Like, doesn't the math doesn't add up here. And so I do like that this is happening, and I think that's going to help because I think by canceling private prisons, it's going to lower the amount of people that are in prison. And I think there's already, not like to say not everyone deserves to be in prison, but like the low level drug offenses and stuff like that, I don't think they should be in prison. As I'm sure if he was here, Eric would say, rehabilitation, not punishment.
Yeah.
So I do like that. And if I can say what I'd hope to see next from Biden, I'd like to see him go after mandatory minimums and tackle those, because those are a big problem too.
I remember we talked about that episodes ago. It was just you and me then too.
Yes,
We
sir.
get stuck with all the prison stuff, man. All the correctional stuff. So I did like a little research before we started this. This was in 2016, so I don't really know how reliable this number is now, but I would assume it's probably gone up. But 2.3 million people were incarcerated in the United States in 2016. Okay. Um, so now I was kind of interested in seeing how many um how many more, like, which area of prisons have uh the bulk of the prisoners, so like public versus private prisons.
Mm-hmm.
um and from what I saw, it was public prisons still had the bulk of most incarcerations. That obviously makes sense to me, but let me try to find the chart.
The other thing that I'm reading about it like right now, that that he's gonna have to work on this, because I like this first step. This is a very good first step, ending private prisons. But as David Fathi, I'm not sure how to
Mhm.
pronounce his name, the director of the American Civil Liberties Union National Prison Project, while this does end the federal government's reliance on private prisons, it does not end their reliance on privately run immigration detention centers like the ICE
Mhm.
centers where they separate them.
Yeah.
So he's saying it's an important. So Fati, this is, said the order signed today, obviously, like when he actually signed it in the end of January, is an important first step towards acknowledging the harm that has been caused and taking actions to repair it. But President Biden has an obligation to do more, especially given his history and promises.
Mhm. I mean, for sure that Biden is under a lot more scrutiny to kind of keep his promises than previous presidents have, just because of the gravity of last election.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at some Bureau of Justice statistics. In 2019, there was 1.4 million people incarcerated at the end of 2019. I don't know if I said that before, but
Jesus.
um, and in 2017, private prisons only incarcerated 120,000 people in 2017, which is 8% of the total state and federal prison population.
Mhm.
So now that kind of brings me to the point. Will this really make a difference?
Like I said, I think this is an important first step, and it's good that he's showing that he is willing to take that step, especially because of how much he promised to do in terms of racial equity. I'm not sure that this particular step is going to have a huge effect, because I mean, Obama was doing this before, like when he was president, and then Trump axed this and like brought it back.
Yeah.
But I think it's an important first step. I don't think it's something to hang your hat on. I think it's like you got the like you just put out the fire. You got the hoses out and everything. Now you got to do the overhaul. Like your work just started. It's a good first step, but now you got to build on this.
Yeah. Um, I saw another statistic that private prisons host more black prisoners than
Mm-hmm.
white. Um, I think that makes sense because, like you said, it's probably more of like the nonviolent drug offenses. Um, so yeah, in that case, amazing. Um, I think you should. Eric says the nonviolent drug of all nine nonviolent drug offenses should be like that. Those prisoners should be let out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I would care to agree with. I know I don't like. I think like for weed and stuff, that's fine. But like when you get to like the opioids and stuff, I think that that's probably best that that person just stays there.
Honestly, not to say that I'm the opposite, but I would say the opioid people more than people that are on like weed or something like that really do need to get out of the prison and go into a legitimate rehab facility,
Yeah,
because like I'm not going to say weed isn't addictive, but like it can be. I mean I guess it can be. I don't I don't
Yeah,
think there's any
it's not as destructive.
Yes. Whereas like the opioids, they can actually destroy someone physically, mentally, and they are legitimately so addictive. Like they shouldn't go to prison where like that they need help. They don't need to go sit in a jail cell all day.
Yeah. That I mean, I agree with that. I just meant that those um okay. Those people in particular, they deserve to be in like a correctional facility.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Um whereas like the weed and stuff, like, yeah, whatever, man. Just I think that it's gonna be interesting because now you're gonna see that, weed is gonna be widely legalized in the United States. It's gonna be interesting to see. I have a feeling that a lot of people are gonna be upset about like um a lot of things because now that businesses will be able to run it, chances are they will the market and supply and demand will dictate what the price will be of said weed. Um, I imagine it'll be a lot more expensive than what you would normally buy. But that is also probably of better quality and safer. So there's that too. I've heard stories of like people smoking weed laced with like fentanyl or something. Like you don't know like what this guy in your college class is really giving you, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I like if I smoked, I would pay that extra price, if I knew that it was safe.
Yeah.
Um,
I get that.
so on the prison thing, a lot of like I have seen like a lot of people say that a lot of they said that like it's nothing, like you said, nothing to hang your hat about. It's like, yeah, like this really doesn't change the problem of mass incarceration, considering it houses the smallest number of prisoners in the United States. But
It's
like you
very
said, steps to be taken. Um, so the step has been taken with this at least.
Mhm.
What happens with public prisons now?
Well, obviously they're gonna have to try and transfer the people from the private run prisons to the public run prisons. That should be interesting in and of itself. I also don't think this is going to be a right now thing because they do have his order is that they can't renew the contracts.
Yeah.
So any of the contracts that are still there, they're not void, like they're still in effect. So it's going to take time where the contracts run out and they have to work on a plan to move these people. I do think that this move is definitely more of like political than anything else. It was to show that he's actually trying to do something.
Mhm.
It's not this move in and of itself isn't really going to do that much. But like I said, I think he can build on it. And I think a couple ways to do that would be trying to maneuver more towards rehabilitation for lesser minor offenses and also mandatory minimums, like I said. And then he can also move this whole like section of his uh, presidential platform that he ran on
Mhm.
and take it into policing reform as the president of the United States and ordering them all to have a new uniform standard of what they have to do and act. And maybe, like, I know some cities already have started switching people. Like, who was it that I saw the other day? I think it was Denver. Denver has officially switched over all mental health calls or mental illness calls to social workers instead of police officers.
Mhm.
So it's already starting to go into effect. So I think by making this first step, he has quite a few avenues that he can build off it with that would actually start to do something
Yeah.
instead of just being a political move. I'm not really sure what it means for public prisons other than they might get more overcrowded.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like I said, if he actually does something and uses this as a first step and he doesn't just hang his hat on it, we could see that number dwindle as all these private prison inmates come in if he releases others to like rehab facilities.
So now, this is where it's funny. The rehab facilities.
Mm-hmm.
What is rehab facilities generally would be it would be disattached. It wouldn't be attached to the prison, right?
What do you mean? Like part of the prison infrastructure?
Yeah.
I doubt that it would be.
Yeah, okay. So it would be you would be transferred to a different place.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to be.
Yeah. So um now this is where like I would be interested to see what the government decides to do,
Mm-hmm.
because then like you'll have public rehabilitation centers versus private rehabilitation centers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I don't know what would be better, who would be better equipped to take on, certain like uh like people who are incarcerated that have like mental issues and just in general. But
I would say, depending on who staffs the said public uh, rehabilitation centers, if it's more like social workers, I'd pull some of, like, at least some from more inner city areas where they just get more experience and they see more things than maybe like a rural group would or something.
who is it?
It's my mom.
Oh no.
I'm gonna text her. So like I would pull from the inner city if I could a little bit and use their experience to help out with anyone else, like any new people that are just coming into the field or people that maybe haven't seen as many types of situations that they have, and then staff it with them. And I feel like if you did that, then taking these people from the prisons to a public one would be better. But if it's just going to be new hires and people that have never really experienced anything, I'm going to say private's going to be better because
Yeah.
they're more equipped.
Yeah, I imagine the private rehabilitation centers would probably be more of like an expertise type thing. But now this is where it's kind of fucked up, I think. What will dictate whether or not you go to public or private rehabilitation center? Because it's kind of getting shafted if you're like you and your cellmate, one goes to a public one and the other one goes to a private one, and like the guy who goes to the private one comes out a much better person while the person in the public one gets like nothing really productive.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'd be interested in just seeing that. I would just want it to be consistent.
Yeah.
So like I know a lot of private businesses and stuff have their like, just because they're not owners of private prisons, a lot of private businesses are very involved in public prisons
Yeah.
because like they sell like food whatever to them, in some cases maybe like food services, um like video games, um TVs, whatnot, you know so like I'd imagine like it would be, I mean, I think just private businesses in general, like private rehabilitation centers, would want these people because they'll get some sort of benefit from it. While also, see, the thing with I have a problem with private prisons is like you're making a profit off of someone being incarcerated. So like that's kind of fucked up. But like if you're making a profit on making someone better and able to contribute to society more, I'm all for that. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Like there's a difference between being a private rehabilitation center and being a private prison. Like prison, you're just benefiting off of
phone
not
calls,
not
whatever.
to say that they aren't paid for whatever their thing, paid for they don't pay their inmates. I know like technically they do get paid for work that they do, but it's like 10 cents an hour. Like
Yeah.
it's basically slave labor.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm gonna take a private rehabilitation center making money where it's probably not going to go on your record or it won't be perceived as bad if it goes on your record and you can actually like contribute to society afterwards than someone who's getting paid 10 cents an hour when the prison itself is making like $100 an hour.
I'd be interested in seeing how many of the current people incarcerated are repeat offenders.
People have been incarcerated.
Yes, like how many are repeat offenders and are back in the prison system?
Well, I know a lot. I mean, not a lot. I'm not going to say a lot. And I have no practical reason for this besides like of some of the stories I've heard. But I've heard stories of like inmates that go rob a, they get out and then they'll go like rob a store for $1 and sit there till the cops come back
Yeah.
and put them back in prison because they don't know.
Um,
They like their life on the inside better.
so okay, wow. All right. So I'm on the Bureau of Justice the statistics again. Um, they say an estimated 68% of released prisoners were arrested within 3 years, 79% within 6 years, and 83% within 9 years.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Um, and repeat offenders make up 37% of the prison system.
That's not that good of a stat.
No, because if
Having
that 37, so what, hold on. Let's go by let's get my handy dandy calculator out here. We'll take the high number just for sake of argument. So 2.3 million, right? So times that by 37%. That is 850,000.
bloody hell.
Yeah, dude. Imagine it like, obviously some people, even if they get rehabilitation, they're just not gonna be good, There's just some people that like it's just inevitable in some way. But I'm sure there are a lot of people of that 800,000 that could have, I'd say probably more than half of that would be able to go on and, live a decent life afterwards if they received some sort of rehabilitation.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I think that an important thing with the rehabilitation centers and what service they need to provide is hooking these people up with jobs and jobs that pay adequately.
Yeah. And I feel like the job should also have something to do with their skill set. Like
100%.
you should learn something. Like I don't know if anything like it happens here, but I know at one of the prisons in the UK, Gordon Ramsay did a class for a bunch of the inmates and taught them how to bake and the prison like sells the baked goods that the prisoners make.
Cool.
And so it makes the prison money off of them actually doing a job. And then when they get released, they have a skill that they can transfer to the real world and work in a bakery.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. I think that what you could do is, yeah, like that class setting would be interesting. I'm sure some social workers would be able to provide some sort of service where like they could teach them certain things, like just practical stuff. And then I would say that like it should be mandatory to have like a library or something in prisons.
Yes.
So like they could, in like a multitude of topics. Like if this guy wants to become a marine biologist right out of prison, he has all the necessities to do so. And this could all be donated from your local library, which is a public institution. So public library, public prison works hand in hand there. So, yeah, I mean, I think that one, it would, like, if you had the library there would be more people like inclined to be like, you know what, like I can't really do anything else. What am I gonna do with my time? Let me read a book. You know, let me read a bunch of things. Let me learn something new, whether it's history, whatever. Because right now it's hard for a prisoner to get out of the prison system, and then find a job that's not a job that doesn't like pay dirt, you know. I find that like, and it's not probably the only jobs that they'll be able to find is like manual labor type jobs.
Yeah, majority of them.
And that's not where the money is, you know.
No.
You know, there are people in construction and whatnot that do very well, obviously, but you know, who knows?
Who knows?
Again, we're just here bullshitting, man. We're no political hypotheses or whatever the fuck.
You guys messing around.
We're just dudes vibing. So Sean, I don't know if you saw in the group chat. I'm just gonna do my plug. We're gonna be hosting monthly debate shows now.
Oh.
Yeah. So monthly debate shows, you could challenge anybody. Like, you don't necessarily have to challenge like Eric or Luke or me. You can challenge like the people on the other show, Danny, Anthony, Patrick.
Okay.
So like it's just a way to bring us all together. And then like what we could do is we'll have like everyone meets together. Like, we all have like one big call. And then while the debate goes on, and then like you guys listen to it, and then like right after, we could decide like who is the quote unquote winner, and then we'll leave it up to our viewers to decide who the winner is as well. So like we'll have like an intra team score, and then we'll have like our viewer score.
Okay.
So I feel like that would be pretty cool, be entertaining. It would definitely allow for like more intellectual and like fact-based sort of thing, because like, I'm not gonna lie, guys, like when we do these shows, it's like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes of research. Like, we don't really do that much intensive research because we're not here for that. We're here to just be entertaining, and maybe you pick up something new like along the way. But so Sean, I'm asking you right now, who would you like to debate? This is not set in stone, but like what's just one topic that you'd really want to debate someone on?
I don't know.
I feel like
there's so many.
Probably be with like the environment or something.
Yeah, I'd love to debate someone on the environment, like policies that should be enacted. I think one of the things I differ on, at least from a couple of people, is like the government giving private companies orders on what they need to do or they need to leave the country. Because I would definitely enact stuff like that. Say that's fine. Like, I get you don't want to do it, but then you need to leave the country and go somewhere else.
Wow. That'd be pretty wild. I'll debate you on that right now. No. I mean, I heard that like Amazon's trying to like move out of here.
I'm sure they are. They don't want to deal with, dude, all of a sudden people are like, well, I'm not going to say that I agree with it, but to quote Eric, they're not paying them a livable wage or a living wage, whatever it is he says. And like Jeff Bezos has too much money. Dude, if I was Jeff Bezos, I'd be like, all right, fine. I'm moving to a different country where I don't have to listen to this. And then you're going to lose a lot of jobs. Like, you want to yell at me? That's fine. I'm the richest person in the world, or second richest. I don't know. Him and Elon Musk flip-flop nowadays. But I'd be like, screw this. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm going to another country.
Yeah.
They're happy to have jobs.
I mean,
you don't have to worry about complaining about this living wage because nobody have any wage.
You're going to have like unemployment skyrockets. Like they're I mean, I always just thought like my philosophy in general was that like because I want to have like businesses as I get older, and like I'd rather have like a low employee count and just pay them like exceptionally well
Mm-hmm.
than have a lot of employees and pay them like not great money.
Look, I'm not saying that I agree with what Jeff Bezos does,
Yeah.
but it's a private business and he pays them above minimum wage. So you can't really complain. Although I will say the thing that sucks about Amazon is you can't wear headphones while you work. I don't understand why. You're just putting stuff in boxes, but you're not allowed to wear headphones while you work.
Dude, most of the robots do most of the work anyway.
Yeah, like just let me wear my headphones.
Exactly.
You let me wear my headphones, and I won't complain about how much money you're paying me. I'll just jam out all day, and you get richer. I get some money to spend on things that I want to spend it on, and I get to listen to music. I'm a happy worker. We all win.
True. All right. We could wrap it up because nothing much else to say about this. The big debate show is coming. We have our first episode coming out on Friday. So whenever we have a debate show, we won't have an international show that week. It'll just replace the international show. So we record that on Tuesdays to come out on Friday. Obviously, the time, like the day and time, could be changed. Like just in case, like we want some people to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And even like let's say like you're doing something, but like you're not, you're at your house. You could just turn it on. Like you don't have to show your face or anything. Just be like, just listen. And then like once you come in, like just put a comment or whatever. Be like, I believe that this person won. But yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an interesting way to have a dialogue and not sound like any sort of presidential debate of, that may or may not have happened last year. The very unproductive ones.
I can't tell if I yell at my TV more during presidential debates or Steelers games.
I would probably bet you yelled more at Steelers games this past year.
It was close. I yelled a lot during the debates. They were like, just shut up and go upstairs.
Dude, you know that if you get an Amazon Halo, you could actually track that.
What?
Yes. So like Amazon Halo is like this wristwatch thing, and it actually like records your voice, or it doesn't record your voice. It listens to your voice, and if you like yell at somebody in a snappy way, it'll say that like, oh, like you were aggressive at this time on this day. I know. Pretty crazy, dude, right? It doesn't really work that well because my mom has it. And like I got it for her because like we always tell my mom that she yells, but she doesn't think that she's yelling. So now like we're like, all right, we have the fundamental proof now. Just phone. But
the robots are gonna kill us all. We're so
yeah,
screwed. We're so screwed. We don't have to worry about the environment. We're already dead.
dude, I should tell you about my invention idea, but that's for another time. I'm not going to talk about it here. I don't want to give anyone any ideas. It's pretty fucking cool though. All right. I'm going to FaceTime Sean right after this and tell me my invention. You all can suck it. You will never hear about this until it's actually a thing. With that being said, please don't suck it because thank you for watching. We wanted you to have your gorgeous eyes to look at this and view our beautiful faces. Shame the other two couldn't be here, but I'm sure, we're in the bulk of the semester now. 3 months until we graduate, man. Insane. We're almost there. All righty. Sean, been a pleasure. As always. See you.
I love to see you.
Likewise. Bye, everybody.